You're listening to What She Grows Through, a podcast dedicated to empower and uplift Black women to grow their self worth. I'm your host, Chanel Amir, one of many dope Black women, creating a community for us to pour into and align with one another, uncovering our true feelings from sexuality to self love, to begin growing through life and evolving into our best authentic selves. Let's get started. What's up, beautiful? It's your girl, Chanel Amir, and welcome back to another episode of the What She Grows Through podcast, where we navigate this thing called life together, growing, healing, and becoming the women that we're meant to be. As always, I'm so happy and grateful to be in this space with you today. And quick disclaimer, my nose has been so stuffy lately, but that is not going to stop me. So if you hear little bits of that throughout this episode, just work with me, beautiful, because I'm trying here and I still want to give you this message. We ain't stopping for nothing. Not even a stuffy nose. Before we get into today's topic, I just wanted to take some time together to just be in this moment. How have you been lately? Where's your heart at? I know some of us have been feeling the weight of the world, but if you're here with me, we made it. And we'll continue doing this life thing as best as we can because that's all we can do, right? So, we're deep into the start of the new year, February, the season, at least up north, is trying its hardest to give us these spring vibes. Like we keep going from spring to winter, from cold to a little taste of what's to come for spring. Like I feel it. Those nostalgic school mornings when that air it was crisp. Love is in the air too, right? Honestly, if we're being real, how often do we stop to reflect on what this word love actually means to us? Not the romance that we see in movies or in them quote unquote sex books, as the people and the kids would call it back in the day. Not what society tells us that it should look like, but real, deep, nurturing love. I've been sitting with this question a lot, given my own single status, and recently I picked up All About Love, New Visions by Bell Hooks again. And woof, sis, this book had my wheels spinning. Like, it had me thinking. Not just about love and relationships, but about love as a daily practice. Love in friendships, in our families, and in the way that we show up for ourselves. And today, I want us to have a real, honest, and deep conversation about love. Not just the cute, cuddly kind, but the kind that challenges us, heals us, and expands us. So, you already know, grab your journal, your tea, coffee, or wine, whatever your vibe is today. Get the sipping, rub your feet together, and let's dive all the way into what it really means to grow through love. All right, sis, so let's start here. What did love look like for you growing up? No, like really. If you close your eyes and think about it, what feelings come up? What examples stand out? For a long time, I thought love was supposed to be sacrifice. And not just some sacrifice, all of it. Given and given and given until there was nothing left. And let me tell you, that's exactly what I did. In relationships, in friendships, even in my family. I thought love meant emptying myself for the people that I cared about. I will pour into people, overextend myself, ignore my own needs, all because I believed that this is what love was. And woof, let me be real with you, my last relationship, that was the epitome of this. I kept giving and giving, hoping that if I just loved harder, if I just proved myself more, things would change. But instead, I ended up drained, empty, numb even. I had literally given everything that I had until there was nothing left to give. And guess what? That still wasn't enough. That's when I had to sit with myself and ask, if love is supposed to make me feel whole, why do I feel so depleted? And that's when I started to unlearn. Because, sis, love is not depletion. Love is not sacrificing yourself at the altar of someone else's needs. Love is care, reciprocity, mutual nurturing. And if the love that you're in is leaving you dry, that ain't love. That's draining. Then there's a part about love feeling conditional. Whew. Now, this one right here, this one runs deep. I felt this in my bones growing up. I learned early that love, it had to be earned. That being loved meant being good. It meant getting straight A's, never disappointing anybody, being the one who just had it all together. Because if I did that, if I did everything right, then I'd be worthy. Then I'd be enough. And what did that lead to? People pleasing? Feeling like that I had to prove myself in every single relationship, romantic, friendships, even business. Like my worth depended on how much I could do for others. And sis, that mess will exhaust you. Because the truth, love isn't a reward that you get for being perfect. Love is supposed to hold you, see you, accept you, not because you've done everything right, but simply because you are you. And I had to learn that my worth wasn't tied to my productivity, that I didn't have to overextend myself just to be seen. That real love wouldn't require me to perform for it. And now let's get into the deep one. The one that's hard to admit because so many of us have lived it. This idea that love and pain go hand in hand. I can't even count how many times that I experienced this in relationships. How many times I thought love was supposed to hurt. That if I was struggling, if I was crying, if I was enduring, that meant it was real. That the more pain that I went through, the stronger the love was supposed to be. That's what we saw growing up, right? We saw women stay. We saw love survive betrayal, disrespect, neglect. And we thought, damn, that must be what love looks like. That must be what it takes. And sis, I'm not even gonna lie to you. When I sat down and really thought about it, it hurt. Like, damn. How many times have I accepted mistreatment and called it love? How many times did I fight for a love that wasn't even good to me? That realization, that's when I knew that I had to redefine what love actually was. Because love, real love, it is not suffering. It is not endurance. It is not pain. Love is soft. Love is safe. Love is intentional, nourishing, healing. And let me tell you, once I started moving with that understanding of love, whew, everything changed. I stopped settling. I stopped proving. I started to love myself in a way that I have never loved before. And Bell Hooks said it best. Most of us were taught about love in ways that were deeply flawed. And if we don't take the time to unlearn, we'll carry those flawed beliefs into our relationships and our friendships, and even in the way that we love ourselves. So today, I just want you to ask yourself, what version of love were you taught? And what version of love do you actually want? I want you to sit with that, beautiful. Write it down. Say it out loud. Because acknowledging where we learned love is the first step in redefining it for ourselves. You deserve the kind of love that feeds you, not just the kind that drains you. And that starts with how you love yourself first. All right, so let's get into it. We talk a lot about self-love, how it's about treating yourself, taking care of yourself, pouring into yourself, and yeah, bubble baths, face masks, and affirmations. We deserve all of that. But let's be real. Self-love is deeper than that, so much deeper. It's not just what you do for yourself, it's what you no longer allow in your life. It's how you protect your peace, how you honor your energy, and how you stand up for the version of you that you're still growing into. Like, oh my goodness. If we're going to talk about protecting our peace, we got to talk about boundaries. Sis, boundaries are love in action. They are self respect in motion. They are the fences that we lovingly build around our gardens, guarding our joy, protecting our growth, and keeping out anything or anyone that doesn't nurture us. Because learning this lesson, it was a journey for me. A while back, I joined this writing circle called Women Writing on Wednesdays. Every week, we gather, journaling, reflecting, sharing pieces of ourselves that we barely spoke out loud. And through these women, through these stories, these conversations, I learned so much about myself. There was this one session that stuck out with me. We talked about boundaries. We all sat there pouring out our experiences of when we let people take too much, of when we had given too much. And then we talked about the moments that we finally said enough is enough. That this is too far and no further. And the power in those moments, the freedom, unmatched. It had me reflecting heavy because, sis, I used to think love was being available all the time, answering every text in the moment that it came through, saying yes when I really wanted to say no, showing up for people even when I was running on fumes. And I thought that if I just gave enough, if I just showed up enough, people would love me, appreciate me, see me. But what was I really doing? Abandon myself in the name of being there for everybody else? Because come on, how many of us have been there? How many of us have exhausted ourselves trying to be everything to everybody? How many of us have let our needs fall to the bottom of the list? How many of us have ignored that little voice inside us that whispered, sis, you are doing way too much? I had to learn that real quick because here's the truth. Love isn't about depletion. Love is about reciprocity. And self-love, that means saying, I love you, but I also love me. That means protecting your time. That means preserving your energy. That means choosing yourself even when it's uncomfortable. One of the most beautiful things that I learned in that writing class was this: boundaries don't push people away, boundaries teach people how to love you. Read that again, sis. Boundaries don't push people away, boundaries teach people how to love you. You are not selfish for having standards. You are not mean for protecting your energy. You are not wrong for choosing you. So, I want you to sit with this also. Get your journal out if you haven't already, I gave you a couple. Where in your life do you need to set better boundaries? Who and what is draining you right now? And what would it feel like to reclaim that space? What's one way that you can honor yourself this week? Because, sis, self love is also saying no. It's also saying not today. It's also walking away from what no longer serves you. And you deserve a love, starting with your own, that honors that. So here's the affirmations that I want you to carry with you this week. I am worthy of boundaries. My love does not require self-sacrifice. I honor my needs, my time, and my peace because I deserve it. Now take a deep breath and sit with that. Feel all of that. And then go out and show yourself the love that you deserve. All right, sis, let's talk about something that has been a game changer for me: love and community. Because love is not just something that we experience in romance, it's not just in that one person we hope sees us, values us, or chooses us. Love is found in sisterhood, in deep, meaningful friendships, in the people who pour into you without expecting you to empty yourself in return. Like, oh my goodness, I've never been more grateful for community than I am right now. Sis, when I tell you I feel this in my soul, oh my goodness, this season of my life has been showing me just how much love I'm surrounded by. And not just any love, healthy, reciprocal, nurturing love. Every single day, I'm in connection with some of the dopest Black women. Women who hold space for me, women who pour into me, women who see me, who believe in me, sometimes even more than I believe in myself in the moment. And it's crazy because for so long, I didn't even know what that felt like. I wasn't used to love that felt safe, that wasn't rooted in struggle or obligation. But now, I have older Black women guiding me, giving me wisdom, reminding me that I don't have to figure this all out on my own. I have peers who get me, who support me, uplift me, and hold me accountable to my growth. I have people who see my craft, my passion for storytelling, and celebrate it, not just in words, but in action. And even right here, sharing my voice on this platform, I feel the love from women who reach out and tell me that my stories, my words, my journey has helped them in some way. This, this is love. This is healing. This is the kind of connection that reminds me that I am never alone. So let's talk about receiving love. Oh my goodness. Let me be really real with you for a second. Sometimes love will show up in ways that we don't expect, in ways that challenge us, in ways that force us to confront what we've been taught about love. I had to unlearn so much about receiving love, especially when it comes in forms that I never experienced before. Because I'll be honest, there's someone in my life right now who has been showing me love in a way that feels different. And at first, I pushed him away. Not because he did anything wrong, not because he wasn't genuine, but because my own experiences with love had conditioned me to believe that this level of care, of consistency, of safety, it had to come with an ulterior motive. That it had to be too good to be true. And I had to sit with myself and realize that this is what healing looks like. When you start experiencing love in its purest form, it's going to challenge every old belief that you had about what love is. But instead of running from it, you have to learn to receive it. Let me just say this: finding your people is one of the most healing things that you can do for yourself. Because when you find them, the people who see you, who celebrate your growth, who hold space for your evolution, it changes everything. It teaches you that love doesn't have to be conditional, that it doesn't have to be earned through exhaustion, that you are worthy of love simply because you exist. And let's be real, this isn't just about romance. Some of the deepest wounds that we carry come from friendships that didn't honor us. And sometimes we have to grieve those losses just like we grieve romantic relationships. But when we find our tribe, the ones who pour into us the way that we pour into them, that's love in its truest form. So, sis, I want you to sit with these questions for a second. Who in your life makes you feel deeply loved, just as you are? How can you nurture those relationships more this year? Are there any relationships in your life that needs more balance, more reciprocity? Because love isn't just about receiving, it's also about showing up for the people who show up for you. All right, sis, let's have a real moment together. Love is scary. Choosing love, the real kind, the kind that makes you feel seen, the kind that requires vulnerability, means choosing to let go of fear. Whew, oh my goodness, that's a process, right? Because fear, she is loud. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear that if we love too much, we'll be left empty, fear that we're doing too much or not enough, fear that if we fully let love in, it'll hurt us in the end. But let's get something straight. Love is not something that we fall into. Love is something that we cultivate. Love is something we create. Love is a choice that we make every single day. And Bell Hooks breaks it down in All About Love so beautifully. We have to relearn what love actually is, because many of us, the way we've seen love through struggle, through conditions, through sacrifice, wasn't love at all. So, here's my challenge to you, sis. Choose love. I haven't always chosen love, not for myself, not in the way that I speak to myself, or not in the way that I allow myself to dream without limitations, not in the way that I embrace the love that's trying to meet me where I am. There have been so many moments where fear got the best of me, where I let past experiences define how I viewed love, where I let what hurt me convince me that love wasn't safe. But sis, listen to this. Love is not what hurt me. Fear hurt me. Neglect hurt me. People who didn't know how to love hurt me. My own inability to receive love without doubting it hurt me. But love has only ever wanted to heal me. And I had to start choosing love on purpose. Choosing love isn't just about relationships. I'm trying to instill this in you, beautiful. It's in those small, intentional ways that we show up for ourselves every day. Choose love in how you speak to yourself. No more tearing yourself down for what you didn't do. No more defining yourself by your mistakes. Speak to yourself like you would do someone you deeply cared about. Choose love in how you show up for your dreams. Fear will tell you that you're not ready, that you're not good enough, that you need more time. Love will tell you to try anyway, to believe in yourself anyway. Choose love in how you forgive, and not just others, beautiful, yourself. Release the guilt, the shame, the heaviness of holding on to things that no longer serve you. You don't have to keep punishing yourself for past versions of you that didn't know better. Because the more love that we cultivate within ourselves, the more love that we attract into our lives. So, sis, I want you to sit with this for a moment. Grab your journal if you haven't already and reflect on these questions. How can I choose love today? What does love feel like in my body when I am fully aligned with it? Maybe choosing love today means being patient with yourself. Maybe it means letting go of the past hurt that's been weighing you down. Maybe it means telling someone that you love them without fear, without expectation, just because you mean it. Whatever it is, let yourself sit in that. Feel all of that. So, sis, I need you to hear me when I say this. You are worthy of love in all its forms. Not just the romantic love, not just the love that comes when you're doing something quote unquote right, not just love that you feel that you have to earn. You are worthy of love that meets you where you are, love that holds space for you, love that nurtures you, challenges you, and allows you to be. And if no one has told you lately, let me be the one to say it. You are deeply loved. You are deserving. You are enough. Thank you for being here, for growing with me, for allowing me to hold space for these conversations. This episode was inspired by All About Love by Bell Hooks, but more than that, it was inspired by the real lived experiences of Black women. Women like you and me who are learning, unlearning, and making the choice to embrace love, not just as a feeling, but as a way of life. So, as we close out, I want to leave you with this. Keep choosing love, keep healing, and keep growing through it. And if this episode spoke to you, share it with another woman who might need this reminder. And if you want to go even deeper, send me a message or email. I'll link everything in the show notes and we can see how we can connect. Also, I would greatly appreciate it if you've seen my craft. I'm always talking about being a storyteller in Chanel Lemaire films, but I want you to actually see what that looks like. So, please head over to my YouTube channel at Chanel Lemaire and watch the latest visual on how motherhood has shaped my perspective as a Black woman and storyteller. I promise you're gonna love it. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I'm currently editing more visuals for my channel, and soon I'll be incorporating more of those for the podcast also. It's a process, but I'm doing it. So until next time, sis, I love you.